Is your goal to lose weight, have more energy, and or increase focus? Well, those were my goals as well. And today I'm going to share with you how I was able to achieve all three of those goals just by being more mindful of what I put on my plate. In Untaught Food Fundamentals Part 1, I share the first two mind-blowing food combining principles that I learned. Today I'm going to share with you additional food combining principles that I began to follow that completely changed my life. Now, I will say this, food combining principles vary. So when you do research, you may see some that are not all the way in alignment, or they have, variations to them. The ones I'm going to share with you today, I have personal experience in implementing. And so I'm only speaking on the ones that I know worked for me, and I have a feeling they may work for you. Food combining principle number 1, do not combine proteins and starches within a meal. For example, steak and mashed potatoes, chicken with rice. And if you're plant-based, beans and corn. Proteins and starches are not digestively compatible. Principle number 2, do not combine different types of protein within a meal. For example, pecan-crusted fish or beans with nuts. You might say, well, I would never eat beans and nuts within a meal. But we have to think about it from the perspective of what are you combining in your stomach at the same time. So let's say you have a side salad as an appetizer, but it has sliced almonds, and then your main dish is a bean soup. As long as they're in your stomach at the same time, different types of proteins are not digestively compatible. So we have to think about it from that perspective. So as I'm speaking, don't think in terms of, oh, well, I would never cook those together. Like, nobody's gonna eat a bean soup and then top it with nuts, right? Or maybe they will. But the goal is to be mindful of what we're combining into our stomach at the same time. So the first two principles were about what not to combine proteins with. Let's talk about what you should eat with proteins. It is best to combine proteins with non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens. So next time you desire steak with mashed potatoes, challenge yourself to have steak with broccoli or tofu with broccoli. Principle number 4, pair starchy vegetables with non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens. This 5th principle really is the star of the show. It's the foods that you have the most flexibility with. And those are non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens. You can pair non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens with proteins or starches. So start to enjoy the non-starchy vegetables and leafy greens with your proteins or your starches. Do your best not to combine proteins and starches together within a meal. When I started combining foods together that were compatible, I felt joy in my stomach. This is how I'm supposed to feel after I eat. I'm like, so this is what being fueled by food feels like. When you eat your steak next time, and you eat it with broccoli instead of mashed potatoes, or you have your tofu with broccoli instead of tofu with rice, come back to this video and comment and let me know how you feel. I will say this, some people can put whatever in their stomach and, feel like an all-star, but you have to study your body and stop ignoring the signs and the signals that your body is giving you that says, hey, what you just put in your stomach, that's not working. Because if you eat and you feel like going to sleep, or you start yawning, or you come back from your lunch break and you dragging the rest of your shift, or you eat lunch and then you're struggling to talk to clients, or you need coffee after coffee break to stay up, then it's possible that the foods that you are eating are not fueling you like you think they are. I encourage you to experiment with this. That's what I did. I said, okay, proteins and starches don't digest well together. Well, let me do my best to eat proteins with leafy greens and non-starchy vegetables. When I started doing that, I felt like a star. I felt like my stomach was literally glowing. And I was just like, oh yes, this is amazing. So experiment with this and see what your results are. Remember, goals do not achieve themselves. You must focus on them daily in order to excel.